Captain Jack Morrison stood on the bridge of his spaceship, the USS Liberty. Outside the windows, stars moved past them like small lights in the darkness. They were traveling to another meeting, another chance to talk and make peace with alien species. This was normal for Jack. He had spent the last 10 years doing this same job. It was the year 2387. Humans had been traveling in space for almost 300 years now. When they first met aliens back in 2089, everyone was worried. People on Earth thought there might be wars with strange creatures from other worlds. But that never happened. Instead, humans became friends with most of the alien races they found. The Galactic Council was like a big government for many different alien species. Humans joined it many years ago. Now humans were known as the peaceful ones. They were the ones who helped other species talk to each other when they had problems. They were good at making deals and ending fights without violence. Lieutenant Lisa Parker walked up to Jack. She was young, only 29 years old. She held a small computer pad in her hands. Her face looked excited but also a little nervous. "Captain, the Zenthari are here. They arrived early and are waiting in the conference room." Jack nodded and got up from his chair. The Zenthari were one of the oldest alien races in the galaxy. Their people had been living among the stars for more than 10,000 years. They were tall and thin, with skin that changed colors depending on how they felt. When they were calm, their skin was blue. When they were angry, it turned red. Jack walked to the conference room. Inside, he saw Ambassador Helen Wright already sitting at the table. She was an older woman with gray hair and kind eyes. She had been working as a diplomat for 30 years. Across from her sat 3 Zenthari aliens. Their skin was a light blue color, which meant they were relaxed. Captain Morrison, one of the Zenthari, said in perfect English, "We have looked at your ideas for the new trade agreement. Your people continue to surprise us with how much you want peace." Helen smiled at them. "We think that working together helps everyone. Humans learned a long time ago that fighting only makes more problems." The Zenthari's skin changed to a light green color. This meant they found something funny. "Yes, we have seen your old history files. Your people used to fight so much, so many wars and so much death, but somehow you changed completely. It is strange, really." Jack felt a little annoyed by the way the alien said this. It sounded like the Zenthari thought humans were stupid in the past. But Jack kept his face calm and friendly. That was his job. "Every species can learn and grow," Jack said quietly. The meeting went on for 2 more hours. They talked about trading food, medicine, and technology between human worlds and Zenthari worlds. Finally, they all agreed on the terms. The Zenthari seemed happy. Their skin stayed a calm blue color as they left. After they were gone, Jack felt tired. He went to the observation deck, a room with huge windows where he could see space. His old friend Commander Ryan Torres was already there, looking at the stars. Ryan was a big man with dark hair and serious eyes. He worked in a special part of the human military that most people did not know about. It was called the Defense Archives. They kept records of all the weapons and military knowledge from Earth's violent past. "They still think we are weak," Ryan said without turning around. "They think we are like sheep." Jack stood next to him and looked out at the stars. He knew Ryan was right. The Zenthari and most other alien species saw humans as friendly and helpful, but not strong. They thought humans had been lucky to survive their own violent history. They thought humans had somehow become peaceful because they were too weak to keep fighting. But that was not true. Humans had not become weak. They had simply made a choice. When they reached the stars and found other life, they decided to try something different. They decided to be peaceful on purpose, not because they had to be. What the aliens did not know was that humans never stopped preparing for war. In secret places far from the normal trade routes, humans built weapons and trained soldiers. They studied every alien species they met, learning about their technology and their ways of fighting. They did this quietly, carefully, so no one would notice. The human government had a plan. It was called Protocol Shepherd. If there was ever a real threat, if someone ever attacked innocent people, humans would be ready. They would show their real strength. Until then, they would keep pretending to be the peaceful ones. "Do you think we will ever need to use it?" Jack asked quietly. "The ships, the weapons, all of it." Ryan looked at him. His face was hard to read. "I hope not. But hope is not a strategy. The galaxy is not as peaceful as it looks. There are species out there that only understand strength. Sooner or later, one of them will push too hard, and when they do, they will learn the truth about us." Jack thought about this. He had seen the reports from the defense archives. He knew about the Krell Dominion, a warrior empire that had been slowly taking over planets in the outer regions of the galaxy. The Galactic Council tried to stop them with words and agreements, but the Krell did not care. They only respected power. Lisa came into the observation deck. She looked worried. "Captain, we just got a message from Council headquarters. The Krell attacked a colony last week. They destroyed everything. Thousands of people died." Jack felt his stomach tighten. "Which colony?" "A mining station on the edge of Zenthari space. The Council is meeting tomorrow to discuss what to do." Ryan and Jack looked at each other. They both knew what this meant. The Krell were getting bolder. They were moving closer to Council space. Sooner or later there would be a real fight. Jack turned back to the window. The stars looked peaceful and calm, but he knew that was just an appearance. Out there in the darkness, dangerous things were moving. Humans had spent 300 years building a reputation as peacemakers, but that reputation might not be enough anymore. The sleeping giant that was humanity might soon need to wake up. And when it did, the galaxy would learn something important. Being peaceful was a choice, not a weakness. Humans knew how to fight. They had just been choosing not to. As the Liberty continued its journey through space, Jack could not shake a feeling of worry. Something was coming. Something big. And humanity would have to make a choice soon. Keep pretending to be weak or show the truth. He hoped they would not have to make that choice. But deep down he knew they would. 6 months passed after the council meeting about the Krell attacks. During that time, the Krell Dominion became even more aggressive. They attacked 3 more colonies. Each time, the Galactic Council sent messages asking them to stop. Each time, the Krell ignored them. Jack was in his quarters on the Liberty reading reports when the alarm went off. The sound was loud and urgent. He jumped up and ran to the bridge. When he got there, his crew was already at their stations. Everyone looked worried. Commander Kate Sullivan turned to face him. Her face was pale and her hands were shaking a little. "Captain, we are getting emergency signals from Delta 7. It is a Zenthari colony. They are under attack right now." Jack felt his blood turn cold. "How many ships?" 3 Krell warships. The colony's defense systems are failing. They are asking for help from any council ships nearby. Jack looked at the main screen. It showed a map of the area. Delta 7 was not far from their current position. How long to reach them? Kate checked her computer. 40 minutes at maximum speed. But Captain, we are a diplomatic ship. We only have small weapons and weak shields. Against 3 Krell warships, we would not last more than 5 minutes in a fight. Jack knew she was right. The Liberty was built for comfort and speed, not for fighting. It carried diplomats and trade representatives, not soldiers. But Delta 7 had more than 50,000 people living there. Mothers, fathers, children, all of them in danger. "Set course for Delta 7, Jack said firmly. "Maximum speed. And send an emergency message to Earth Command. Tell them what is happening." Lisa worked quickly at her station. "Message sent, Captain. We should get a response soon." As the Liberty raced through space toward the colony, Jack felt his heart pounding. He did not know what he could do when they got there. Maybe he could talk to the Krell. Maybe he could convince them to stop. But he doubted it. The Krell did not care about words. A few minutes later, his private communication screen lit up. It was Admiral Peter Grant from Earth Command. The Admiral was an old man with white hair and a stern face. He had been in the military for over 50 years. "Jack, I know what you are thinking," the Admiral said, "but you cannot fight those Krell ships. Your ship is not made for combat. I cannot just watch 50,000 people die, Admiral." The Admiral's face became harder. "You will not have to. We are starting Protocol Shepherd. The USS Guardian and USS Defender are already on their way. They will reach Delta 7 in 30 minutes. Jack felt a chill run through his body. He had heard about Protocol Shepherd, but he never thought he would see it used. The Guardian and Defender were not normal ships. They were warships, built in secret and hidden from the rest of the galaxy. "Admiral, those ships are from the Defense Archives?" The Admiral nodded slowly. "For 300 years, Jack, we have let the galaxy think we are weak. We have smiled and talked and made peace, but we never forgot who we are. We never stopped preparing for a day like this. The Krell are about to learn something important. Humans did not become peaceful because we were bad at war. We became peaceful because we were too good at it. The screen went dark. Jack sat in his chair trying to process what he just heard. Around him, his crew worked quietly. They had all heard the Admiral's words through the bridge speakers. Lisa turned to look at him. Her young face showed confusion and fear. "Captain, are we really going to fight? I thought humans did not do that anymore." Jack looked at her. She had grown up in a peaceful time. She had never seen war or violence. The idea of humans fighting was completely foreign to her. "We do what is necessary to protect innocent lives," he said gently. "That has always been our real rule." Ryan appeared on the bridge. He must have heard the alarm and come from his quarters. He walked over to Jack with a serious expression. "So it is finally happening," Ryan said quietly. "The secret is about to come out," Jack nodded. "After today, the galaxy will know the truth about us." Ryan looked at the main screen, which now showed Delta 7 in the distance. "Is that a good thing or a bad thing?" "I do not know yet," Jack admitted. "But those people down there need help. That is what matters right now." The Liberty continued toward Delta 7. On the view screen, they could now see the colony. It was a beautiful place, with cities that glowed with light against the dark planet's surface. But above it, 3 huge Krell warships were firing their weapons down at the shields protecting the colony. The Krell ships were massive and ugly, covered in dark metal and bristling with weapons. Each one was twice the size of the Liberty. They looked like giant predators attacking helpless prey. Kate's voice was tight with stress. "Captain, the colony shields are at 30%. They will fail soon. And the Krell are detecting us. They are turning toward us." Jack took a deep breath. "Open a communication channel to the Krell ships." A moment later, the face of a Krell commander appeared on the screen. He looked like a giant lizard with scales and sharp teeth. His eyes were cold and cruel. "A human ship," the Krell said. His voice was harsh and mocking. "Have you come to beg for mercy on behalf of these weak Zenthari? Or perhaps you want to negotiate? Humans love to talk and make deals." Jack kept his voice calm and steady. "This colony is protected by the Galactic Council. Your attack breaks interstellar law. Stop now." The Krell commander laughed. It was an ugly sound. "The Council means nothing to us. And you humans mean even less. You are weak creatures who hide behind words. Leave now or be destroyed with these colonists." Jack glanced at the tactical display. The Guardian and Defender would arrive in 3 minutes. He just needed to keep the Krell talking until then. "I am giving you one chance," Jack said. "Leave this system now, and nothing more will happen to you." The Krell commander's face twisted with anger. "You dare threaten me? You sit in a diplomat's toy ship and you threaten the might of the Krell Dominion? I will teach you the price of such arrogance." One of the Krell warships turned away from the colony and pointed toward the Liberty. Lights on its hull began to glow as it charged its weapons. "Captain," Kate said urgently, "they are locking weapons on us." Before anyone could react, 2 enormous ships suddenly appeared between the Liberty and the Krell vessels. They seemed to materialize. Out of nowhere, dropping out of faster-than-light travel with perfect precision, the USS Guardian and USS Defender had arrived, and they looked nothing like the Liberty. The 2 human warships were nothing like the peaceful diplomatic vessels the galaxy knew. The USS Guardian and USS Defender looked like they were built for only one purpose: war. Their hulls were dark gray, angular, and sharp. Weapon systems covered their surfaces like the scales of a metal dragon. They were slightly smaller than the Krell warships, but somehow they looked more dangerous. Everyone on the Liberty's bridge stared at the view screen in silence. Even Ryan, who knew about the secret military ships, seemed impressed by what he was seeing. A voice came through the communication system. It was calm and confident. "This is Captain Greg Hunter of the USS Guardian. You were given a chance to leave peacefully. You chose violence instead. That was a mistake." On the view screen, the Krell commander's face showed confusion for the first time. "What are these vessels? We have no records of human warships." Humans are diplomats and traders, not warriors. Another voice joined the conversation. This one belonged to Captain Sam Rodriguez of the USS Defender. That is because we did not want you to have records. We have been watching you, studying your tactics, learning about your weapons. We know everything about how you fight. The Krell commander's confusion turned to anger. His scaled face twisted into a snarl. 2 ships against 3. You are outnumbered. You will die for your foolishness. Greg's voice remained calm. You are welcome to try. The 3 Krell warships turned away from the colony and focused on the 2 human ships. They opened fire with everything they had. Bright streams of plasma and missiles filled the space between the ships. The attack was massive, the kind that would destroy most vessels instantly. Kate gasped as she watched her displays. Captain, that much firepower would turn the Liberty into dust. How can they possibly survive? But the Guardian and Defender did not just survive. Their shields lit up as the Krell weapons hit them, glowing bright blue. The shields absorbed every shot without even flickering. It was as if the Krell were throwing rocks at a mountain. Our turn, Greg said quietly. The Guardian fired its weapons. Beams of pure energy shot out, moving faster than anything Jack had ever seen. They hit the lead Krell warship's shields and punched straight through them. The Krell ship shuddered as the beams tore into its hull. At the same time, the Defender launched missiles. But these were not normal missiles. They moved through space like they were alive, twisting and turning to avoid the Krell defensive fire. When they hit, they did not explode. Instead, they released powerful electromagnetic pulses that shut down the Krell ship's systems. Lisa's voice was filled with wonder. Captain, how is this possible? That technology is far beyond anything I have ever studied. Ryan spoke up from where he stood. Because while the galaxy thought we were just being peaceful, we were also learning. Every alien technology we encountered, we studied. Every conflict we observed, we analyzed. We took the best ideas from every species and improved them. The battle continued, but it was not really a battle. It was more like a lesson. The Guardian and Defender moved through space with impossible grace. They were faster than the Krell ships, more accurate, and their weapons were devastatingly effective. The lead Krell warship tried to retreat, its engines firing desperately. But Greg was ready for that. The Guardian moved to cut off the escape route. At the same time, the Defender fired another volley of those strange missiles. They hit the Krell ship's engines and disabled them completely. The Krell commander was shouting now, his voice full of panic. All ships focus fire on the smaller human vessel. Concentrate your attacks. The 2 remaining Krell warships turned all their weapons on the Defender. The amount of firepower they unleashed was incredible. If they had hit the Liberty with even a fraction of that power, it would have been destroyed instantly. But the Defender simply accelerated. It moved so fast that most of the Krell shots missed completely. The few that did hit were absorbed by its shields without causing any damage. Sam's voice came through the communication system again. You came here to attack innocent civilians. You thought they were weak and helpless. You thought humans were soft and would not interfere. You were wrong about everything. The Defender fired its main weapons. The beams hit one of the Krell ships with surgical precision, destroying its shield generators one by one. Then it targeted the weapon systems. Within seconds, the Krell warship was helpless, drifting in space with no way to fight back. The Guardian dealt with a 3rd Krell ship. Greg's tactics were different but equally effective. His ship fired a spread of smaller weapons that surrounded the Krell vessel. They did not destroy it, but instead disabled its systems piece by piece. Engines, weapons, shields, communication arrays. Everything was methodically taken offline. Kate was watching her tactical display with wide eyes. Captain, they are not trying to destroy the Krell ships. They are disabling them. Every shot is perfectly placed to damage specific systems without killing the crews. Jack understood. This was not just about winning a fight. This was about sending a message. We can destroy you anytime we want. We choose not to. Yet, in less than 15 minutes, all 3 Krell warships were floating dead in space. Their systems were offline, their weapons destroyed, but their hulls were intact. The crews inside were alive but completely defeated. Greg's voice was firm and clear. Krell vessels, you will remain here until Galactic Council security forces arrive. Any attempt to repair your systems or escape will result in your immediate destruction. Do you understand? There was a long pause. Then the Krell commander's voice came through. It sounded completely different from before. All the arrogance and cruelty were gone. Now he just sounded defeated and scared. We understand. Down on Delta 7, the colonists were emerging from their shelters. The attack was over. They were safe. Shuttles began launching from the colony, coming up to help with rescue operations. Jack let out a long breath. He had been holding it without realizing. Around him, his crew was doing the same. They had just witnessed something that would change everything. Lisa turned to face him. Her young face showed a mixture of pride and worry. "Captain, the whole galaxy will know about this within hours. Everyone will find out what humans are really capable of." Jack nodded slowly. "Yes, the secret is out now. After 300 years of hiding our true strength, the galaxy is about to learn who humans really are." Brian walked over and stood beside Jack's chair. "The question is, how will they react? Will they be grateful that we saved the colony, or will they be afraid of us?" Jack looked at the view screen. The Guardian and Defender were still there, powerful and intimidating. Below them, the colony was safe. Thousands of lives had been saved. "Maybe both," Jack said quietly. "Maybe both." The news spread across the galaxy faster than anyone expected. Within hours, every species in the Galactic Council knew about what happened at Delta 7. Videos of the battle were being shown everywhere. Diplomatic channels were flooding with messages. Everyone wanted to know the same thing. What else had humans been hiding? Jack sat in his quarters on the Liberty, reading message after message. Some were grateful, thanking humanity for saving the Zenthari colony. Others were angry, accusing humans of lying for 3 centuries. Many were simply afraid. A knock came at his door. "Come in," Jack called out. Helen Wright entered. The ambassador looked tired. She had probably been dealing with angry aliens all day. She sat down in the chair across from Jack's desk without waiting to be invited. "The council wants answers, Jack. They are calling an emergency session tomorrow. They want you there to explain what happened." "Just me." Helen shook her head. "You, me, and Admiral Grant. They want to hear from Earth's leadership directly. The Zenthari are especially insistent. They want to know why we never told them we had military capabilities like this." Jack leaned back in his chair. "What do you think will happen?" Helen was quiet for a moment. "Honestly, I do not know. Some species are grateful. The Zenthari, whose lives we saved, are calling us heroes. But others are scared. They are wondering if we have been planning to take over the galaxy all along." "That is ridiculous," Jack said. "If we wanted to take over, we could have done it centuries ago. I know that. You know that. But fear is not rational, Jack. For 300 years, they saw us as the peaceful ones, the harmless ones. Now they know we have been building warships in secret. Some of them feel betrayed." Jack stood up and walked to the window. Outside, he could see the Guardian and Defender in the distance. They were still guarding the disabled Krell ships, making sure they did not try anything. "We did what was necessary," he said quietly. "Those colonists would have died if we had not intervened." "I agree completely," Helen said. "But now we have to deal with the consequences. The galaxy knows our secret. We need to explain ourselves in a way that does not make things worse." The next day, Jack found himself standing in the great chamber of the Galactic Council. The room was enormous, with seats arranged in a circle for representatives from dozens of different species. Every seat was filled. Some aliens looked curious. Others looked angry. Many looked afraid. Admiral Grant stood beside Jack. The old military officer looked calm and serious. Helen stood on Jack's other side, her diplomatic training keeping her face neutral and professional. The presiding speaker called the chamber to order. He was an ancient being from a species that had been part of the council longer than anyone else. His voice was deep and carried authority. "Captain Morrison, Admiral Grant, Ambassador Wright, you stand before this council to explain humanity's actions at Delta 7. But more importantly, you must explain why humans have been hiding military capabilities from this council for 3 centuries. Jack took a deep breath. He had prepared for this moment, but now that it was here, his heart was pounding. "Presiding Speaker, members of the Council, I want to start by saying that everything we have told you about our commitment to peace has been true. We are a peaceful species. We believe in diplomacy, cooperation, and understanding." A Zenthari counselor stood up. His skin was flickering between red and orange, showing his anger. "Then why do you have warships? Why have you been building weapons in secret?" Jack looked directly at the Zenthari. "Because being peaceful and being defenseless are not the same thing." He activated a holographic display in the center of the chamber. Images from Earth's history appeared. showing ancient battles, medieval wars, and modern conflicts. The images were not pretty. They showed the violence and destruction that humans were capable of. Our species has a long history of warfare, Jack continued. For thousands of years, we fought each other. We became very skilled at building weapons and winning battles. But eventually, we learned something important. We learned that being good at war did not make us primitive or savage. It made us intelligent and adaptable. The holographic display changed to show Earth's unification in the early days of space exploration. When we reached the stars and met other species, we made a choice. We decided to use our intelligence and adaptability for peace instead of war. But we also understood that the galaxy might not always be peaceful. Another counselor spoke up. This one was from a species that looked like large birds. So you prepared for war while pretending to want peace? That sounds like deception to me. Admiral Grant stepped forward. It was not deception. It was prudence. We hoped we would never need our military capabilities. For 300 years, we resolved every conflict through diplomacy. We negotiated treaties, mediated disputes, and helped build bridges between species. Our warships stayed hidden because we wanted peace to work. The presiding speaker raised his hand, calling for silence. And when the Krell attacked Delta 7, Jack met the speaker's gaze. When the Krell attacked, we faced a choice. We could maintain our peaceful image and watch 50,000 innocent people die. Or we could act. We chose to act. We will always choose to act when innocent lives are threatened. Silence filled the chamber. Then slowly one of the Zenthari delegates stood up. Jack recognized him. He had been on Delta 7 during the attack. I was there when the Krell attacked, the Zenthari said. His voice shook with emotion. I watched my home burn. I thought I was going to die. Then the human warships arrived and saved us. They could have destroyed the Krell completely, but they chose mercy instead. They disabled the Krell ships without killing their crews. That is not the action of a species that wants war. That is the action of true protectors. Other counselors began nodding. Some were still uncertain, but the fear in the chamber was slowly changing to something else. Understanding. Respect. The presiding speaker looked thoughtful. Captain Morrison, what are humanity's intentions now that your capabilities are known? Jack straightened his shoulders. Our intentions are the same as they have always been, presiding speaker. We want peace. We want to explore and learn. We want to work with all the species of this council. But we will no longer allow aggressors like the Krell to threaten innocent beings, whether they are human or not. He paused and looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes of as many counselors as he could. I understand that some of you may fear us now. That is your right. But please understand this. The strength you have discovered is not a threat to you. It is a shield. We learned how to be warriors so that we could choose not to be. That choice, that restraint defines us. Not our weapons, but our wisdom in knowing when not to use them. The chamber was quiet as his words sank in. Then slowly the atmosphere began to change. The sleeping giant had awakened, but it was not the monster they feared. It was something better. A protector. 3 weeks passed after the council meeting. The galaxy was still adjusting to the new reality of what humanity truly was. Messages arrived at Earth Command every day. Some species wanted to form defense alliances. Others wanted to trade for human military technology. A few, like the Krell, simply stayed quiet and avoided human space entirely. Jack was back on the Liberty, but things felt different now. When they docked at space stations, other species looked at them with new eyes. Some showed respect, others showed caution. But no one looked at humans the same way they used to. One morning, Lisa brought him an interesting message. Captain, we have received a communication from the Vex Collective. They are requesting a meeting with you. The Vex were a mysterious species. They rarely interacted with the Council, preferring to keep to themselves in their corner of the galaxy. They were known to be highly advanced but peaceful. Why would they want to meet now? What do they want to discuss? Lisa checked her datapad. They did not say specifically, just that they want to speak with you privately about humanity's recent revelation. Jack thought about it for a moment. Arrange the meeting, but make sure Ryan is present. I want someone from Defense Archives there. The meeting took place in a quiet conference room on a neutral space station. The Vex representative was a tall being with smooth silver skin and large dark eyes. They moved gracefully, and their voice had a musical quality to it. Captain Morrison, the Vex said, bowing slightly. Thank you for meeting with me. I am called Nexus in your language. I speak for the Vex Collective. Jack gestured to the chairs. Please sit. What did you want to discuss? Nexus sat down, their movement smooth and deliberate. I wanted to tell you something that the rest of the galaxy does not know. The Vex have known about your secret for a very long time. Jack and Ryan exchanged surprised looks. You knew? Nexus nodded. We detected your hidden shipyards about 200 years ago. Our long-range sensors are quite advanced. We saw the Guardian and Defender being built, along with several other vessels. We knew humans were maintaining military capabilities. Ryan leaned forward. Why did you never tell the Council? Because we understood why you were doing it, Nexus said simply. The Vex were once like you. Long ago we were warriors. We fought terrible wars that nearly destroyed our civilization. When we finally achieved peace, we also maintained defensive capabilities in secret. Just like you. Jack felt a chill run through him. So you have hidden military forces too? We did, Nexus said. Past tense. About 500 years ago, we decided we no longer needed them. We had achieved such advanced technology that conventional warfare became irrelevant to us. We could defend ourselves in other ways, but we remember what it was like to be where you are now. Choosing peace while preparing for war. It is a difficult balance. The Vex paused, their dark eyes studying Jack carefully. That is why I wanted to meet with you. To offer advice if you will accept it. I am listening, Jack said. The galaxy now knows what you are capable of. This changes everything. Some species will want to be your friends because they fear you. Others will want to test your strength. The Krell are not the only aggressive empire out there. More challenges will come. Nexus leaned back in their chair. The most important thing is that you stay true to who you are. You chose peace first and war only when necessary. Do not let the galaxy push you into becoming something else. Do not let fear or pride turn you into the very thing you fought so hard not to be. Jack thought about these words. They made sense, but they also worried him. Is that what happened to some species? They revealed their strength and then became consumed by it? Yes, Nexus said sadly. We have seen it happen many times. A peaceful species discovers it must fight to survive. It wins its battles. But then it starts to see violence as the answer to all problems. Soon it becomes what it once feared. The warrior that cannot stop fighting. That will not happen to us, Ryan said firmly. I hope you are right, Nexus said. The galaxy needs species like yours, ones who understand both peace and war and choose peace whenever possible. Do not lose that wisdom. After the meeting ended and Nexus left, Jack and Ryan sat in silence for a while. Finally, Ryan spoke. Do you think we can do it? Stay peaceful even now that everyone knows we can fight? Jack looked out the window at the stars. We have to. If we become what the Krell are, if we start using violence as our first choice instead of our last, then what was the point of the last 300 years? Back on the Liberty, life slowly returned to normal. Or at least to a new normal. The crew was getting used to the attention. Other ships would move out of their way now. Space stations gave them priority docking. It was strange and uncomfortable. Lisa approached Jack one day with more news. Captain, we have received multiple requests. 12 different species want to form mutual defense pacts with humanity. 8 others want to purchase human military technology. And there is something else. What is it? The Krell Dominion has sent a formal message. They want to negotiate a peace treaty with humanity and the Galactic Council. They are offering to withdraw from all disputed territories. Jack felt a smile forming. So the Krell decided that peace is better than fighting us. It appears so, Lisa said. She looked proud and happy. Admiral Grant appeared on the communication screen later that day. Jack, I am hearing good things from across the galaxy. Multiple species are reaching out for cooperation. The Krell are backing down. This is exactly what we hoped would happen. But we have to be careful, Jack said. The Vex warned me about becoming too comfortable with our military power. The Admiral nodded seriously. They are wise. We must remember that our strength exists to protect peace, not to replace it. Every time we are tempted to use force, we must ask ourselves if there is another way. That evening, Jack stood in the observation deck with his senior officers. Kate, Lisa, and Ryan were all there. They looked out at the stars together, thinking about what the future might hold. So what happens now, Kate asked. Does humanity become the military power of the galaxy? No, Jack said firmly. We become the guardians. We protect those who cannot protect themselves. We stop aggressors when diplomacy fails. But we always try diplomacy first. That is who we are. Lisa smiled. The sleeping giant that chooses to stay sleeping unless absolutely necessary. Exactly, Jack said. The galaxy now knows we can fight. Our next job is to show them that we still prefer not to. 6 months after the battle at Delta 7, the galaxy had settled into a new reality. Humanity was no longer seen as the naive, peaceful species that other races could dismiss. But they were also not feared as conquerors or tyrants. Instead, something new had emerged. Humanity had become known as the Guardians of the Peace. The Liberty was now assigned to patrol duty near the border regions where pirate activity was common. Jack and his crew worked alongside ships from other species, coordinating efforts to keep trade routes safe. It was different work from the diplomatic missions they used to do, but it felt important. One afternoon, they received a distress call from a small freighter. It was a ship belonging to a species called the Miri, who were known for being gentle and nonviolent. 3 pirate vessels had surrounded the freighter and were demanding its cargo. Kate looked at Jack. "Captain, we can reach them in 20 minutes. Should I contact the Guardian or Defender?" "No," Jack said thoughtfully. "Let us see if we can handle this ourselves. Set course for their location. And Lisa, open a channel to the pirate ships." As the Liberty approached, Jack could see the 3 pirate vessels on the view screen. They were small, poorly maintained ships with makeshift weapons. The pirates were probably from a dozen different species, outcasts who made their living by stealing from honest traders. The communication channel opened. The pirate leader appeared on screen. He was a rough-looking alien with scars on his face and a cruel smile. "This is our business, human. Leave now or we will add your ship to our list of targets." Jack kept his voice calm and steady. "This is Captain Jack Morrison of the human vessel Liberty. You are attacking a ship under Galactic Council protection. Release the freighter and leave this area immediately." The pirate laughed. "You are in a diplomatic ship. What are you going to do, talk us to death? We have 3 ships. You have 1. The math is simple." Jack glanced at Ryan, who was standing nearby. Ryan gave him a small nod. "You have heard what happened at Delta 7, Jack said. "You know what humans are capable of now." The pirate's smile faded slightly. "That was warships. You are not a warship." "True," Jack agreed. "But after Delta 7, we upgraded all our diplomatic vessels. We may not be a warship, but we are no longer defenseless either. You have 1 minute to release that freighter and leave. If you do not, you will find out exactly what we can do." For a moment, the pirate leader looked uncertain. Then he sneered and cut the communication. On the view screen, the 3 pirate ships began moving toward the Liberty in an attack formation. "They are charging weapons," Kate reported. "Activate our new defensive systems," Jack ordered. "Target their weapons and engines only. Disable them, but do not destroy them." The Liberty's upgraded weapons came online. They were not as powerful as what the Guardian carried, but they were far more advanced than the pirates expected. The Liberty fired carefully aimed shots that hit the pirate ships with precision. Within 3 minutes, all 3 pirate vessels were drifting helplessly in space. Their weapons were destroyed and their engines were offline. The crews were unharmed but completely defeated. Jack opened the communication channel again. The pirate leader looked shocked and frightened. "As I said, we are not defenseless. Council security forces will arrive in 30 minutes to take you into custody. I suggest you use that time to think about finding a better career path." He closed the channel and immediately contacted the Miri freighter. "This is Captain Morrison. Are you all right?" A Miri captain appeared on screen. She was small with large eyes and looked very relieved. "Yes, thank you so much. We were so scared. We thought they would take everything or worse. You saved us." "That is what we are here for," Jack said with a smile. "Stay safe out there." After the Miri freighter departed safely, Lisa turned to Jack. "Captain, that was handled perfectly. We used force, but only enough to stop them. We did not hurt anyone unnecessarily." "That is the balance we need to maintain," Jack said. "Strong enough to stop threats, but restrained enough to show mercy." Over the following months, similar situations happened several times. Pirates and small aggressive groups tested humanity's resolve. Each time, humans responded with the exact amount of force needed and no more. They disabled threats without destroying them. They protected the innocent without becoming aggressive themselves. Slowly, a reputation grew. If you were a peaceful trader or colonist, humans were your friends and protectors. But if you threatened innocent people, humans would stop you swiftly and efficiently. This reputation spread across the galaxy faster than any diplomatic speech could. 1 year after Delta 7, Jack received a surprising message. It was from the Zenthari government. They wanted to honor him and his crew with a special ceremony on their homeworld. When Jack arrived with his senior officers, they were amazed by what they saw. A massive statue had been built in the capital city. It showed a human figure standing protectively over smaller figures representing different alien species. The inscription at the base read, "To humanity, the guardians who choose peace but stand ready for war." The Xanthari leader spoke at the ceremony. "For 300 years we thought humans were peaceful because they were weak. We were wrong. They are peaceful because they are wise. They understand that true strength is knowing when not to fight. Today we honor them not just for saving Delta 7, but for teaching the galaxy this lesson." Jack felt humbled by the words in the statue. He gave a brief speech in response. "We are just doing what we believe is right. Peace should always be our first choice. But when peace fails and innocents are threatened, we will act. That is our promise to the galaxy." Later that evening, back on the Liberty, Jack gathered his crew in the observation deck. They looked out at the stars together. So much had changed in the past year. The galaxy knew their secret now. Humans were no longer the naive, peaceful species that could be ignored or dismissed, but they had proven something more important. They had shown that strength and peace were not opposites. They were companions. You needed strength to truly choose peace because without strength, peace was just weakness pretending to be virtue. "Do you think we did the right thing?" Lisa asked. "Revealing our capabilities?" Jack thought about it carefully. "We did not reveal them by choice. The situation forced our hand, but yes, I think it was right. Hiding forever was not sustainable. Eventually someone would have found out. At least this way, we showed our true character from the start." Ryan nodded in agreement. "And we showed that we use our strength wisely. Every time we could have destroyed an enemy, we chose to disable them instead. Every time we could have taken advantage of our power, we chose restraint." "That matters," Kate smiled. "The sleeping giant that only wakes up when necessary. And even when awake, it is careful not to cause unnecessary harm." Jack looked at his crew with pride. They had all grown so much over the past year. They understood now what it meant to be human in this new era. They were guardians, protectors, but most importantly, they were still peacemakers at heart. The galaxy had believed humanity was peaceful because they were weak. They had been wrong about the weakness, but right about the peace. Humans were peaceful because they chose to be, because they understood the true cost of violence, and because they knew that the strongest thing you could do was show restraint. As the Liberty prepared to depart for its next mission, Jack felt confident about the future. Challenges would come. There would be more conflicts, more difficult decisions, but humanity would face them the same way they always had, with wisdom, compassion, and the strength to do what was necessary while never forgetting who they truly were. The sleeping giant was awake now, but it remained gentle. And that made all the difference.